Just posing for our coffee date. Oh, hello, honey. Hi. Good morning. A place of feeling very whole and complete, and touch wood, God bless, continue to do so. This energy, if all of us women, I'm sure you went through problems. It's not that your life was devoid, and it's not just the mean girls.
I've always said this that life is like a ECG line. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. So it is bound to go down. But it is bound to go up also, right? Why can't we just focus on the up than on the downs? ठीक है, down तो होना ही है. वो तो it's like inevitable, right? It's like death. वो तो आनी है. But what did you do with your life? That's more important, right?
What did you do with your life? Yes, yes.
तो होगी. Everybody is going to come, everybody is going to go. But what about that in between? Did you live it? Did you have fun? Did you enjoy it? Did
How
you
did
do it?
you show up? Yeah, how did you show up?
How did it show up? That's pretty important. And my journey of coaching basically started after I had my daughter. So this is 2020 and peak COVID. Uh, I came home for my pregnancy, and after I gave birth, she was in NICU for about 2 weeks. And because it was COVID, they did not allow us to meet the baby, to see the baby. All of that was happening. I got a small clot, what is that, clot in my brain, because of which I was admitted in a different hospital. So she was in another hospital, I was in another hospital. I couldn't breastfeed. None of that normal mother child thing happened. So I lost connection. I felt disconnected. I felt I don't know who this baby is. There was a point in time, Mariam, they used to do video call. Okay, so every day they used to show us the baby and say, she's fine or she's doing okay. You don't have to worry. So every day, one video call we used to get. And in one of the calls, I was coming back from my hospital where I was getting treatment for my clot. And while coming back, I just started crying looking at that video. I said, this is not my baby. They're showing me the wrong baby. I mean, my husband was so shocked. He said, it's the same baby. I said, no, it's not my baby. And trust me, I can swear on God, it was not my baby. They were showing me a different baby. I still believe it.
I
But
trust you, believe you. Yeah.
so when she came home, I was disconnected. I could feel. So I got a C-section. She was preterm. She came in the 7th month itself. And while they were doing the operation, I could feel something come out of me, as if a part of me really left my body. And that was the reason why my body actually went into shock. And because of that shock, I got a clot in my brain. And I knew something had just been removed from my body and it was not the right time. You just know. Your body knows it was not the right time for the baby to come out, but the baby was out. And my body was actually looking for the baby. Ki gaya kahan? Where did the baby go? And because of that, all of that happened and I felt disconnect. And no, there is no doubt. And I was trying to find, if I show you my uh, picture. So my daughter, she's born one day before my birthday. She's born on 25th of June. My birthday is 26th of June. My husband so sweetly got this beautiful cake, COVID, peak COVID, you cannot get anything anywhere. He got me this cake. I was not allowed to eat because, of course, of the medications and all of that. And he kept that cake, we cut the cake. I looked at that photo, he took a picture of me and I started crying. I said, this is not me. I was this big, fat balloon thing sitting on this big white bed. No, I couldn't resonate with the person that I was looking at. And yeah, that is where this journey started of self-healing and all of that. And so when she came home, uh, we got her home. It was difficult for me. My parents, I told you, they're very hands-on people. Very, very hands-on. Because she was not breastfeeding, she was on bottled. milk, the formula milk. So it was very easy. Everybody was taking care of her.
Right,
She was not me much.
right.
Just sometimes इसको सुला दो तो खिला दो तो लिटा दो उतनी देर रहती थी बाकी पूरे टाइम दे वर विद माय पेरेंट्स शी वाज विद माय पेरेंट्स कोई मसाज कर रहा है कोई नहला रहा है कोई खिला रहा है कोई दूध पिला रहा है इट वाज अमेजिंग आई लव द होल आइडिया ऑफ देम टेकिंग केयर दे वर माय विलेज they were the ones
Good.
taking care of the baby but at the same time because I did not take care of her I was not connected I
That
felt
that element between you and your daughter, which is also here, Chani, is that connection that we mothers feel like this is my mothering, right? And you won't believe, but when I gave birth to my daughter, I was 22 years old. And I didn't know that, like you said, your body feels what it's supposed to do. And I went for like a class with the doula because I was petrified of the delivery, not anything else, because I'd heard stories about my mother's delivery and how painful it was. So that was something that I was carrying with me. And so, because she went into distress because she was inside longer, birthing is actually very natural, but the medical intervention has actually done a lot of damage. There's one of the other things I want to do is create awareness as to how to trust your body to guide you through these processes. Because otherwise, medical interventions, they're just looking for stuff to find wrong more than right, right? Okay, it's scan ho gaya, this, that. I understand basic procedures are important. Having said that, 1 week in the NICU, the first time a mother, I totally understand what that disconnection was, but I did breastfeed, okay? And I had inverted, nipples, which I needed to, which were cracking and bleeding and painful. And, every experience of ours just trying to create that connection with pressure. Imagine people and their pressure. Like you have the village, but instead of the village, coming forward, I felt like they were all behind. And I felt, instead, I didn't feel supported by that. I felt pressurized by that. And then who does the pressure come to? The child is scared because it's like how many faces staring down at her, if you just had to see that as a vision in your head. And uh, it affects the quality of your bond. But you've written a book of poems.
I no I've written a book.
Okay.
Um, I'll tell you more about it. I also felt the pressure, Mariam. When she came in, there is this whole notion of breastfeeding is very important. You should breastfeed your child for 6 months. And I agree. I'm not disagreeing any
Mother's
of
milk is best, yes. But
I agree. I totally agree. But the point is when she's not latching on, how do I make her do it? Correct. And the problem is when you have your mother-in-law at home, all your life you've been told cover up, don't show this, don't show that, and then suddenly everybody is looking at your breast and then feed the baby, feed the baby.
you said
I
it. You said,
want it.
yeah.
Right? So it was weird. That whole idea of me uncovering and then feeding the baby, trying to it was crazy. I got petrified. I was like, I don't want to do it. Even if I could, I will not. I went to that stage.
Yes. Yes.
And it was not like I did not want. It's just that she was not latching on. And then there was too much of pressure, try this, try that, do this angle, do that angle, hold her like a football, hold her like a peach. I can't do this. She's
And
too
how
tight.
comfortable you are, honey. It's just that's the mom's natural instinct. I feel like when there's so much in information and so much, and in the way that it comes to us, like they're projecting that fear and all of that. And I feel like we need to just say a prayer for all of us women who've chosen marriage, who've been lucky to get good families, but some of us who've chosen marriage because we believe that that's our work. We believe in, the pride of being such an important part of coming into a family. The kind of responsibilities are not just about, making sure food is on the table or there is a snack for the kids later, but just that whole becoming process. And I really want us to create a space for women to open up and talk and get the right guidance, because I feel when you're going to cook, don't you need to prepare to get the ingredients, have them ready, and then cook? You know, a lot of times I said, oh, you don't need to. ऐसे नहीं पकाते, you just stand over the stove and do it. I said, you stand over the stove and do it when you're a master. Right? You can do that because you know your quantities. You've diced and probably cut two tomatoes with one onion and that adrak ilachi, whatever combination, you know it. So if my mother-in-law is dumping the ingredients and baking cakes, I still need to do the process of measuring it out, getting my bowls, then putting it in. And a lot of people are not understanding the process involved, which comes to why our mentor is a mentor, because there has been so much process. It's not like you just sit and talk. Yes, we can counsel also, but if we initiate you into the program and say that this sort of happens, which is what we then realized we needed to do, we sort of then got into the art of being a woman. It's a science and an art to be a woman, to accept that I am a tomboy. I am dressing with that, but there are so many different kinds of versions of me that come out. And we're, right from having to cover up and not show to now saying, there you go, baby, like juice up. You're just feeling like, how do you make that switch without the preparation? You had your fufa sit down and tell you about, sorry, you were saying.
I've seen mothers be just fabulous, right? Just being they own being a mother.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%.
What they're getting into. I did not know what I was getting into because the picture that I'd seen before having the baby was completely different. It was all about bacha pal jata hai.
Joy and happiness to the family, and you know
Good part, right? But nobody talks about the bad part or the tough part, if I may call it.
and it's only tough because you're unprepared. I want to say that because I've had three also, you've had two now.
Yeah, so if somebody
It's
would have
easy if you're prepared.
if someone would have told me that these things can go wrong and you might feel like this, you might feel like that, of course I would have been mentally prepared. I would know that okay, this is what is happening to me and this is how I need to react to certain things. Sometimes you don't know how you're reacting. You
Yes.
are reacting, but you don't
And in
know how.
school and college and things like that, say, here's my question, and this is for all women. Everyone's so focused on learning something that's going to earn them money, which is amazing, which is great. Do that. That's important for you. I'm 100% supporter. But isn't it as important for you to put yourself through a program that teaches you what women have been experiencing, going through, and now actually have for you an entire prepared document with explanations, with workshops to take you through, and then for you to pick and choose? It's like saying, expose yourself. We believe in that exposure. Like you had a job, you had a thing. Of course, we can't experiment with baby making. But through each other's shared stories, right, we learn and we grow. Having this conversation, this live, we had something else prepared, but just seeing how beautiful, like you bring your story. It can look like a set of questions to me, but you brought so much today, about all of these experiences, the good and the parts that are tough. And that's just because we can't do everything all the time. We can't be perfect all the time, but there is a need to grow
Yeah.
and to understand more than anything. Forget that. It's just need to feel like, who am I in all of this? When you say disconnection, it's first with, who am I? I've changed, I've lost, like I was carrying a baby, it has been removed, and not in the way that natural birth happens, a premature baby, and suddenly feeling like, okay, I had an idea, but the actual feels so different. Not being able to recognize who you saw when a picture of you was taken, for example, because anyway everyone dressed you, but who dressed you for birth? I would say, after seeing everyone, that this, for the last birth, I wore pretty makeup and kept my hair all ready, because that's that's good, because you want a picture of yourself after you give birth. And how you now have to start taking responsibility for the areas of your life where people are not showing interest. And that's you, isn't it, honey?
And Mariam, to be very honest, I never felt like she's a daughter. I always felt like she's a sister. I just brought her into the world, but she's more of my parents than of me. So they still take care of her. Initially, because we were in the forces, we were traveling all around. My husband, he was in the Navy. Now he has retired. And we have finally settled here in Gurgaon. My parents live just 100 meters away. My dad still comes over and sleeps here because of her.
Right.
So she is like a daughter to them. I'm not her mother. I'm just
You probably carried for them that soul connection. Yeah.
carrier.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're still her actual parents. And me and my brother both feel like she's not. My brother, she calls him by name. She doesn't even call him Mamu. And everybody keeps saying Mama ji bolo, Mama ji bolo. Nahi, Bhasu is Bhasu. Bhasu is always Bhasu. Everybody has tried to teach her since forever. Call him Mama, call him Mama, call him Bhasu.
But
Bhasu.
coming from the kind of family that you come from, imagine her growing and saying, Chani gave birth to me and she's the channel, but I really feel like,
Yeah,
your parents are her parents and your brother's her brother.
and I always think children select their
Yeah,
families
they do.
when they are in the heaven or wherever they are. So wherever they are coming from, they always choose their parents. They always choose their family, and she has chosen us because we are their children.
Oh.
Because she
आई थिंक
wants.
यहाँ पे तो बहुत बड़ा ट्रॉफी होना चाहिए योर पेरेंट्स के लिए. Seriously, it'd be such a pleasure to have them speak. I'm sure they'll be like, what did we do? We just did what, yeah.
They're mostly like that. मैंने कौन सी बड़ी बात हो गई? And I told my father a couple of days back, आप क्यों यहाँ आके सोते हो? वो भी गद्दा लगा के सोना पड़ता है. आपको दिक्कत नहीं होती? इट्स ओके ना, ये सो जाएगी. 2 दिन लगेगा एडजस्ट होने में, 2 दिन रोएगी, तीसरे दिन ओके, she'll become fine ना. Why do you want to? अभी पूछ रही है ना, कुछ दिनों बाद नहीं पूछेगी. नहीं, ये कौन सा लॉजिक है भाई?
How beautiful. How beautiful. It is.
So after a certain age, the kids don't look for their parents anymore.
There will be milestones, yes.
They're busy with their school, they're busy with their friends, and they have their own circle. So my father says, right now, I am her circle. Just let me be her
And that
circle.
gives them both that bonding and connection. And, so let's come back. So, what is your book all about?
So this was my third book. It is called Always By You. So when he was in my tummy, I always had this feeling, what if I'm not alive anymore? Yeah. And, I have still not processed it. So that's why all of these emotions. But yeah, so I thought there has to be a guide or a manual that my daughter can have if in case I'm not there, to how to lead her life.
Yeah.
Yeah, what to do, what not to do. Um, what I would like her to be like. So just small things, just
Let's order this book now. Will you please give us the title and where it's available?
it's available on Amazon. You can search by my name or the book's name. It's called Always By You. And I feel it's a book which every girl can have, every woman can have. Single fathers who don't know what to talk to their daughters, they can have the book. Um, Women who have not had that motherly figure in their lives, they can have the book. So anybody and everybody who feels they've lost connection with the mother around,
Yeah.
they can. It will be a fabulous book to have, and it is basically like a guide. So it is divided into chapters, starting from 5 to 10, and then 5 years to 10 years, and 10 years to your adolescence, and then so it has chapters. How while you're in school, while you're in college, while you're getting married, while you're having children. So it has all of those segments. So
Okay.
anybody suppose I'm a teenager and I want to know what should I do or how should I conduct myself? What is life all about? That person also can pick up a book. If someone is going to get married and say, "Arey, how do I find a partner?" or what kind of partner should I go for? It has something on that also, so they
Oh,
can also.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's a manual till where I am at the moment. It doesn't have from I'm not I don't know anything about menopause, so it has nothing on those sorts. But till the age of 30, 35, it's a book for everyone.
That's
Right, age of 5 to 30, anybody can pick up the book.
And you have been such solid goal, Chani. It like having coffee with you this morning, having my actually like today it's black tea has been so amazing. Let's do one nice cheers. I think an introduction to a girly coffee catch up does no justice, but it does do justice when you are getting to know each other, spending that time, sharing from stories. I think one of the things that I used to love about hearing village stories is how women would just come sit together, or then that village became the school,
Yeah.
right? We just have this time to sit, and I don't know why, but being in a girls' school left like a very big impact on me, because my favorite thing to do with women is to sit down with them and to listen to what their life has been. And when I see how much we contribute to each other by just saying that, you know what, this is good in my life, and it's not to say that, okay, I've had it different, but I can just learn from this. I can just, have that, okay, if her attitude is great, friendships are beautiful. It's not easy making friends at different stages, but through books, through communities, reach out, do these sorts of things to stay connected with people. So, if you were to say in this time of, change and everything that you went through, if you had to give yourself a piece of advice, right, at that time when you suddenly felt like you had lost the old you, and there was a stranger, like an imposter syndrome, and then now you've come back into motherhood, if there was just one piece of advice for someone who's going through that right now?
Just hang on. You'll find your way.
It's a rocky boat.
Just trust yourself. You'll find a way. Don't give up. I mean, life is worth living, and it's okay. Things are tough, but you'll find your way.
And if you need any help, if there was one person who you really felt was an anchor of support, or was that like spirituality, was that religion, was that a person, who was it that, or was it just you? What was it that you were doing to sort of reconnect with yourself? Or was it the mentor? Who would you sort of say was really important at that phase in your life?
Me, I think travel has been one of my go-tos. I initially I felt I was trying to escape from whatever is happening, but then I realized that I'm learning. And whenever I used to travel, I used to introspect a lot, think a lot, see where am I going, what my actions are like, whom is it hurting. Sometimes we don't understand that, our actions can really hurt people. So I used to travel a lot. And because she was independent from the beginning, I was not feeding her. Anybody could feed her, anybody could take care of her. So I was pretty independent that way.
So
And
a special love and connection and respect for your daughter.
yeah, I do. Because she's the one who has shaped whatever it is that I'm doing right now. I don't think I would have got into the self-help industry if I would not have given birth, if things would not have happened the way it did. And because it was COVID, because I did not feel connected to her, because of my weight, because of whatever it is that I went through, today I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So I found my calling, I found my purpose because
That's
of.
a redirection, right?
Absolutely. I enrolled in Mrs. India right after I gave birth because I was not feeling connected to myself. Yeah, I was the finalist. It was just because I didn't feel connected to myself. I knew I was a confident person. I knew I was this fun flamboyant. I just wanted to find myself, and I thought it is such a great platform to be on. I recommend everybody to try into a pageant sometime or the other, the day you're feeling underconfident, do enroll to some pageant. Trust me, it changes the way you start looking at yourself.
It's a
And
great learning platform.
it is, absolutely it is, because we had these sessions on how to walk, how to dress, how to do makeup, how to take care of yourself, hygiene, this, that. There were so many things in it. How to talk, how to communicate, how to use good words, how to do gratitude, how to. So all of that helped,
Right.
right? It was my first platform wherein I actually started to feel like myself, and I started learning about such things.
Yes.
Apart from, it's also part of this company. It's called QNet, and I was working with them before the baby happened, and because of the baby, I lost connection and I stopped working with them. But even when I was in that company, it was all about it was into business development and how you can, sell out products and things like that. I learned so much, and I was already in sales, so I did know how important sales is,
Right.
and connect to your customer, how to connect. But there, I understood what rejections are like and
Mhm.
how much they can start affecting you. So I learned from there as well. So all of this together, there I learned about vision board and how to create your vision, how to have gratitude, how to all of that I learned there. And when I went through my postpartum journey, I started implementing all of it more consciously. I was doing gratitude, but it was on a superficial level at that time. After pregnancy, I actually started pushing myself to do this because I knew it will work someday. Maybe not today, but it will work in the
Right. Absolutely.
started implementing all of that slowly, little by little, little by little. And then, as you know, the algorithm works magic on Instagram. So I got the this thing. I enrolled for the workshop, and I started doing work with Pooja, and that is how I got onto that journey. And my first session or my first this program was Awakening. And that is exactly what I was looking for, searching for my identity, understanding. I did not know, Mariam, that there is something called life coach. I had no idea. And
Absolutely.
there are people out there who can help you with stuff like this, who are out there to, who have it all figured out. And because of that program, I think other programs, of course, they impacted me. They made me into who I am today. But that one program changed everything. It shifted everything.
Your rapid fire. And here we go. What's the most ridiculous thing you believed as a child? Like, did the moon follow your car?
Like, I believed, what did I believe? I always believed in good stuff. I believe fairies and witches.
Oh,
It,
lovely.
believe in it. I don't know why. I still believe it's true.
Yeah,
Very,
fairies and witches?
yeah, fairies and witches. The good witches, not the bad
Good
ones.
witches. Oh, you're making it very clear now. That's beautiful.
Good witches who
What's
like to
what's your go-to? I have 5 minutes to get ready beauty hack.
kajal, lipstick, mascara,
Tell us a fashion or beauty trend you followed and now totally regret.
baggy jeans.
Oh, baggy time.
I regret.
Uh, if you could swap lives with your spouse or best friend for one day, what would you definitely not do?
Not to do.
Yeah.
Sit in the bathroom for 1 hour with my phone. I will not do that.
What's the weirdest thing in your bag or purse right now?
A lighter. I always carry a lighter. Not for that, okay, not for that. Just a safety. I like the click, click,
Oh
click.
my God, like that would anyone would judge.
Yeah, don't
Have you,
judge.
have you ever tried to manifest something and it totally backfired? We want the funny version, not the trauma.
Totally backfired. No, I don't have a story like that. All my manifestations have come true all the time. I'm a big believer that Ganesh ji is sitting right next to me and listening to each and every word that I say, and he just says tapas.
Ah, that's a powerful one. What's your guilty pleasure TV show or movie that you pretend not to watch, or just anything?
Yes.
What?
I love Korean series.
It literally says K dramas.
You know, everywhere. I love you so much. You know, it's my favorite. If you're listening, do follow me on Instagram.
Okay, last two questions. If your kids or partner were interviewed about you, what's something hilarious that they'd say?
She's messy.
That's not hilarious.
It is for them.
Laugh about it.
Cleanliness and keeping organized, and then she's the most messiest person they know.
Complete this sentence. I may look like I've got it together, but secretly I
Secretly, I
fridge
don't.
every 5 minutes like food will magically appear, like that kind of stuff.
Say the line again.
I may look like I've got it together, but secretly I still check the fridge every 5 minutes like food will magically appear. Meaning to say, what is that one thing that you tend to do? You look like you're put together, but what is it that you actually end up rechecking and checking? Like for me, I have to keep checking my groceries and things like that because I feel like I've got this whole housekeeping thing in order, but I'm just like, have I told her something? And then I'll be sitting and I'll be working, but suddenly I'm like, have I given the instructions for dinner or snack or whatever? And I'm always feeling like, damn, I missed something.
I think it's just mom brain.
The brain. Yes.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that I really miss out on, but most important is my coffee. So I keep checking if I have enough coffee, enough coffee. So even when my anybody is going out traveling, I keep telling them that make sure you pick coffee from there. Pick up those ashes, get it for me. I have like this big stock of
Wow.
ashes just as backup, so that I know.
Wow. 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 Okay, now we'll come back to if your life had a theme song right now, what would it be? And would you sing a line for us?
So my go-to song is Asha. आशा में खिले दिल की उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी नहीं कुछ भी
Ah, thank you, thank you, thank you, Chani. Thank you for coming. And big hug to you. And let's actually sip some proper chai. You're in Gurgaon, I'm in Bangalore, but this is the new way we catch up with friends, plan a coffee date, and life, laughter, and love. This is your morning coffee with Mariam with beautiful Chani Ravi, Chani Singh Ravi.
Congratulations on a new podcast.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.